Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Now, this week's field report's pretty simple. Fishing was super tough everywhere, just because the water was very low and clear. It doesn't really matter what system you were on. If you were along the coast, if you were in the valley, north or south coast even, rivers have just been super low and clear for weeks now, it seems like. But things are changing. Now, there were certainly some fish that were being caught when you're referring to, of course, steelhead and saltwater for that matter. For those folks that had made it out to chase some bottom fish here in the last week or so, I guess the conditions are good. We got multiple reports from that. I know the folks from Ore Angling were out having some success out of Pacific City, but like they always do. I guess it's just as long as they can get out, they can get them. But overall, we're all kind of thinking about, yes, and I know that there's a lot of you that are already asking questions about spring Chinook. We will address those in March. We're a ways away from that. Steelhead are in full swing, no question. And today is the first day where there's been a fresh shot of water all throughout the area. No matter where it is, we finally got a little bit of water that came in. If you, again, are like me and you've been watching river levels, it's been forecasted to go up to, way high in some systems, and now they're forecasted to be a couple of feet lower than this morning. It looks like everything's kind of turned over a little bit early. We'll get to those in a second. Myself, all week, only thing I did this week was work on boats. Duck boat had to get cleaned up, dealt with, covered, and then stashed, which is not easy, especially when you're old like myself. Also getting the drift boat dialed in, and now it's 100% ready to go, and I'm just crossing my fingers that we have some water this upcoming week, and it's going to be really interesting to see how that actually plays out. With snow in the forecast, is that going to let water get into the rivers? It'll be interesting. Hopefully it'll be safe, but hopefully productive. Let's take a look at some of the river levels and what the forecast is. The big rivers currently not much of a concern right now, but you can see they're just dog-toothed out, still just tall tides. If you're messing around with doing any plunking on the Willamette, you certainly have enough water to do that. But you can see there's just a very small bounce that's forecasted here throughout the week before we get to this upcoming weekend. So again, not a lot of interest there, but taking a look at what I've been literally staring at for days now, I mean, it was forecasted at one point to get up into the 15s, and then it was down into the 12s, and then back up into the 14s, and now you can see that it's turned over already. Pretty much everything has turned over, no matter where it is that you've been watching. Now, will that change today? I mean, we'll find out a little bit from Peyton here what we can expect as far as rain goes, but when you're talking about coastal rivers, north and south, inland as well, everything kind of turned over a little bit early, and I just hope that doesn't mean we're just going to end up right back where we were a couple of days ago at, super low, super clear conditions, but it certainly looks like it's going to try to do so. But with this shot of water, why are you here? I mean, wait until 10 and then go. I'm literally. Even though these rivers have bounced right here, these are not that big of bounces. 1.5 feet, foot and a quarter. Yes, they may be off color, whatever, but in this area, every fish that was down in the lower parts of the systems, doesn't matter if it was in tidewater along the coast or in big main stems waiting to get into tributaries, boom, they are going to head upstream. And I know where I'd be right now. Just saying, just throwing it out there. But certainly something to keep on your radar. You should have some really good conditions and some good opportunities as you get into this upcoming week. Let's just hope that that actually happens. The CCA, every month, I believe, has a guest on their podcast that they do each month. And you might remember Debbie Colbert, Dr. Debbie Colbert, the director of ODFW, was here for her very first interview on Outdoor GPS. I'm super proud of that. Super nice lady. And as you can tell, she is very accessible. And she's going to be participating in that Zoom call with the CCA folks on Wednesday, February 5th. And you can have a chance to listen in on what she's got going on and how things are going with ODFW. And there's always something going on. If you want to win something free, though, as my sweatshirt says, send Jason over at Procure, who we will be talking to in just a few minutes, over at Procure.com, and you'll be entered in to win that weekly prize pack. And yes, you need to enter in each and every week. Okay, so don't forget that. It turns out to be a little bit of a thing. There is a winner chosen every Monday morning, and if you are the winner, he will let you know sometime between 7 and 8 a.m. because he sends me those things every Monday. Now, let's check in with Peyton Major and find out what's going on. You've been busy, Peyton, haven't you? These forecasts have been very interesting.
They have been. They've changed a lot. You mentioned that earlier, and I think that's kind of a key here. We finally got snow, though. This is actually a live look at our ski bowl camera, so that's always good, especially if you were heading up to the slopes. I know a lot of people probably doing that this weekend. But yeah, you can see that was really isolated to the Cascades. The Coast Range got a light dusting, but we do actually first alert weather days today just for the Cascades and Coast Range, because that's really where we're only going to see snow for today. Very, very unlikely chance we'll see any flurries in the lowlands today. That'll change hopefully tomorrow. So there's our Coast Range forecast, maybe 2 to 6 inches, a little slushy if you're headed over that direction. Live look at radar. It's good to see some activity again. We had an 18-day dry streak. It was the longest January dry streak on record. Obviously broke that yesterday. And today, not going to be as wet as yesterday, thinking maybe an additional 0.2 of an inch. But let's get to the juicy stuff. We're watching next week. First lowland snow potential of the winter season. Sunday through Wednesday are all first alert weather days because of the opportunity for snow to stick to the lowest elevations. This is really the coldest parts of the day. So we're not talking about a daytime all week snow. It's really those overnight hours and in the morning. And this is really not also going to be a big widespread snow or ice storm. There's that upper level weather pattern in that area of low pressure we were watching that features the cold showers. I'll kind of zoom ahead here so you can see that it's actually right off the coastline. The core of it's rotating off to our west. And so that's why moisture isn't going to be as significant. That area of low pressure, the core of it, is not going to be over land. So it's kind of wasted potential there. Here's our snow forecast from now through about Tuesday. We're looking at maybe 1/2 inch to an inch. That's all. So really not going to be a big event, but still enough that you may run into some slick spots in the morning commutes. Monday, a few flurries. I think Tuesday and Wednesday will be really interesting. Owen, those are the 2 days to watch. Definitely download our First Alert Weather app too. We're going to see if this might be our more significant event rather than Sunday, Monday. So we'll see. I mean, things are changing all the time. You said it yourself.
It looks interesting. I hope that things play out safely, but it'll be kind of interesting to have some snow come around.
Yeah, we just need the cold air. I mean, we'll take mid-30s, but it's got to get lower.
Very good. Peyton, thank you very much. We appreciate the heads up. All right, everyone, we're going to cut to a break. As you can tell, I'm trying to save a little time because from here on out, we're going to be pretty darn busy. We're going to come back with Jason Hambley from Procure. He's live up at the Puyallup Sportsman Show. Then after that, we've got a tech tip on how to make and utilize spawn sacks for steelhead. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.